Abraxas and Abracadabra, Gnostic origins and magical uses. An 800-word exploration of the mystical word Abracadabra and its relation to the Gnostic figure Abraxas. 1. The meaning of Abracadabra. The word Abracadabra is among the most widely recognized magical incantations in history, yet its exact origin remains uncertain. The earliest known appearance of the word occurs in the 2nd century AD, but scholars and mystics have debated its etymology for centuries. Some have proposed that abracadabra derives from Aramaic, possibly from the phrase avra kedavra, kedavra, meaning I create as I speak, or I create like the word. This phrase would suggest a deep connection between speech, creation, and power, a theme common in ancient esoteric traditions. Other scholars have noticed similarities between abracadabra and Greek and Latin phrases or symbolic sequences. One theory points to the resemblance between the first letters of the Greek alphabet, ΑΒΓΔ, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and the early part of the word. Another, more compelling connection is with the name Abraxas, a prominent Gnostic figure. While no single explanation has been proven conclusively, the association of abracadabra with magical language, healing, and spiritual protection is well documented, and the word's power was always considered to reside in its form, repetition, and spoken force, regardless of its exact meaning. 2. The first appearance of abracadabra. The earliest documented use of abracadabra appears in a medical text by Cerinus Simonicus, a Roman scholar and physician to Emperor Caracalla. In his work Liber Medicinalis, also known as De Medicina Praecepta Saluberrima, written in the 2nd century, Cerinus prescribes the word abracadabra as a remedy against fever and other illnesses, particularly malaria. Simonicus advised that the word be written on parchment in the form of an inverted triangle, removing one letter at each line to gradually diminish the word's presence. You can see the code in our conversation history. This triangular form was to be worn as an amulet around the neck by the afflicted person. The logic was that as the word physically diminished, so too would the illness. Simonicus claimed that such a talisman could drive away lethal diseases, and this practice gained popularity among Roman elites. Even emperors like Geta and Severus Alexander may have used the incantation under the guidance of Simonicus's teachings. Though Simonicus was writing as a physician, the practice reflected a blend of medicine, mysticism, and ritual magic, an approach that blurred the lines between empirical healing and spiritual invocation. His recommendation to use abracadabra as a protective charm represents one of the earliest fusions of esoteric language and physical medicine in Western tradition. 3. Abracadabra, Abraxas, and the Greek magical papyri. To understand the deeper symbolic significance of abracadabra, we must turn to its probable connection with Abraxas, a powerful being in Gnostic cosmology, particularly in the sect of Basilides, 2nd century AD. In Gnostic tradition, Abraxas is an enigmatic entity associated with the divine fullness, pleroma, and is sometimes depicted as a composite figure with a rooster's head, human torso, serpent legs, and bearing a shield and whip. His name, when written in Greek, Abraxas, carries a numerical value of 365, which many Gnostics interpreted as the number of heavens or spiritual rulers, one for each day of the year. Abraxas was not merely a deity or angel, but a mediator between the unknowable deity and the created cosmos, and his name was inscribed on Gnostic amulets and gemstones, often called Abraxas stones, used for protection, healing, and invoking spiritual aid. These talismans sometimes featured the name abracadabra alongside Abraxas, suggesting that the word itself had become associated with the mystical power of Abraxas. The Greek magical papyri, a collection of magical spells and rituals from Egypt dating from the 2nd century BC to the 5th century AD, also contain similar strings of mystical names and incantations used for healing, summoning, and protection. These papyri reflect the blending of Egyptian, Greek, Jewish, and Gnostic traditions. Names like Iau, Adonai, Sabaoth, and Abraxas appear frequently, interwoven with long, complex strings of vowels and magical words, some of which resemble or include abracadabra. In these contexts, such names functioned as vocalized symbols of divine power, intended to align the speaker with higher, healing forces. The use of magical words in triangular form, as found in Simonicus's amulet, also appears in these papyri. The triangle, representing descent or dissipation, may have symbolized the banishing of illness or evil. It mirrored the cosmological descent of divine energy into the material world, a theme common in Gnostic thought, where healing often involved restoring spiritual order by invoking the names and symbols of the higher aeons. Conclusion. Though often dismissed today as a child's chant or stage magician's cliché, abracadabra has deep roots in ancient mysticism and Gnostic religion. Its appearance in the 2nd century as a medical charm, its triangular inscription for protection, and its probable association with Abraxas all point to a once powerful role as a sacred word of healing and cosmic invocation. Whether derived from Aramaic speech, Greek numerology, or Gnostic theology, abracadabra remains a relic of a time when words were seen not just as labels, but as vehicles of power, echoing the voice of creation itself.